In ancient times, in a land called Vietnam, there lived a just and kind king who had many children. One day, the king realized that one of the princes did not behave well towards others. To teach him a lesson, he ordered that the prince be sent to a very distant island to reflect on his poor behavior. Upon arriving at the shore, the young prince spent several hours playing. As sunset approached, he built himself a shelter using tree leaves. Days passed, and the prince would go to the forest every day, eating its fruits and drinking from the river that flowed through it. As time went by, the weather became hotter and hotter. One day, the prince stumbled upon a large fruit with a smooth, green rind. He picked one of the fruits, but due to its heavy weight, it slipped from his hands and fell to the ground, cracking open. Inside, he saw a beautiful, vibrant red color with black seeds. The prince didn't know if he could eat this fruit, so he cautiously tasted a small piece. To his delight, it was sweet and full of refreshing water. Since he had never seen anything like it before, the prince thought for a while and smiled to himself, naming it without meaning, red watermelon. From that moment, the prince's connection to the red watermelon grew. Every day, he would search the forest for another watermelon, crack it open, and enjoy its deliciousness. One day, an idea came to him. Why don't I draw on the watermelon? He took a piece of wood and carved an interesting design on the rind of the watermelon. For days, the prince would sit and draw on watermelons, but eventually, he grew tired of this. He asked himself, "What should I do now?" As he walked and pondered, a thought crossed his mind. Why not throw these watermelons into the sea? He tossed a few of the watermelons, which he had drawn on, into the sea. However, the waves were strong and wouldn't let the watermelons drift far. They kept pushing them back to the shore. The prince thought to himself, perhaps the wind is making the waves stronger. So, he waited patiently for days until the sea became calm. Finally, the weather cleared and the wind softened. The surface of the sea was smooth, with no disturbances. The prince rushed to the shore and threw many watermelons into the sea. Some floated near the shore, but many drifted farther and farther away. The prince, being very lucky, saw several watermelons reach far into the sea. This became the prince's new obsession. The once pampered prince, who lived in a beautiful palace and showed respect to no one, now patiently drew on watermelons and waited for days for the sea's waves to come. At last, the watermelons carried the prince's messages. In a distant place, the sailors of a fishing boat noticed the floating watermelons and, in amazement, followed their trail. The sailors, always in motion on their small boat, eventually spotted part of an island in the distance. The next morning, they landed on the island and found the young prince.